Okay. So okay. So usually we what we do in the labs is what we do in lab is antennas, but in this lab doing antennas is a bit difficult because the antennas are all locked in the university. So we will do something else for the starting few days, that is stub matching. After that we will go to some antenna experiments. Okay. Now let us start. We will do this stub matching. Okay. Let us start with the basics of a transmission line. Okay. We have done. What is the problem? We have done KVL and KCL. Okay. So far we have done KVL and KCL in the last classes. So tell me, I have a AC source, sinusoidal AC source. Okay. The AC source has Vt equal to root 2 cos of 2 pi Ft. Okay. This resistance is of 10 ohms. F is given to be 1 kilohertz. Here to here is 10 centimeter. Here to here is 20 centimeter. Here to here is 10 centimeter. What is the current flowing through the circuit? Anybody?
Zero point 0.1.
0.1. The RMS value of current is 0.1 ampere. Okay. So IRMS equal to 0.1 ampere, which is the right answer. Now, why do you think I have given you these things? Did you use these things in your calculation? Why do you think I use given this extra information to you? You did. I think you didn't need these things, right? When you calculated
Yes.
this 0.1 amp, you didn't use this 10 centimeter, 20 centimeter. Why do you think I had given you this information, extra information? Ah, this is the problem, and about which we cannot do much. Why do you think you needed this extra information?
Power.
Actually, no, nothing to do with power. We can calculate the power also, right? Power is I square RMS R. We don't need this because what happens? This is okay when, so when this is 1 kilohertz, it is fine. Even you did need this 1 kilohertz, but it has changed the problem slightly. Now what happens? I have just changed kilohertz to gigahertz. Everything else remains the same. Everything else is same except I have changed the F. Now what happens? Please mute somebody's. If you have nothing to say, please mute your microphone. Okay. So now if I change from kilohertz to gigahertz, now what happens? Is the current still 0.1 amp?
Yes, sir.
Well, the answer is this time no. Unfortunately, the answer is no longer 0.1 amp. Why? Let us see. Actually, the basic wave equation, what you have seen in your higher secondary school or in your basic physics class, physics subject, is VZT equal to some V naught cos of omega t minus beta z. Right? This equation you have seen. This is a wave, sinusoidal wave propagating in which direction? This is a sinusoidal wave propagating in which direction? Anyone? This equation I have written is a sinusoidal wave which is propagating in which direction? Plus x plus y plus z minus x minus y minus z, which direction? This you have must studied in your physics class, first year physics class, or in your school. This wave is traveling in the plus z direction. This is a wave traveling in plus z direction. What is this beta? What is this beta? What is this beta? Anyone? Wave constant, okay? Or propagation constant, whatever. This beta is equal to 2 pi by lambda. Okay? Now for this Vt, this equation should look the same, but in our basic electrical electronics class which I too have taken, or in your circuit theory class, every time you were given this equation. You were given this equation. Vt equal to root 2 cos omega t. But the beta z part has been always missing. Why? Because if f is 1 kilohertz, what is lambda? If f is 1 kilohertz, what is lambda? 1 second. If f is 1 kilohertz, what is lambda? 1 second. 40 seconds. If f is 1 kilohertz, what is lambda? Anyone? What is the formula? 300 watt. What is what 300? Meters? Yes, exactly. That is the correct formula. Just 1 second. Okay, sorry. Yes. So F, this is 300 meters, fine, right? So because as he rightly said, F into lambda, that is C. So lambda would be 10 to the power 8 by F was 1 kilohertz. So actually it's much more than that. 3 in 25 meters or 300 kilometers. Okay. See here, these are all 10 centimeter, 20 centimeters. So the overall dimension is around 50 centimeters. Okay. This will also be 20, I guess. So the overall dimension is 20, 20, 40, 50, 60 centimeters. Right. So you can imagine that this beta z term, this is 2 pi 300 kilometers times 60 centimeters. So how small this would be? Fine. Can you guess? Can you see? Beta was 2 pi by lambda. So 2 pi by 300 kilometers. And z is 60 centimeters. So this beta z is 2 pi into 60 centimeter 10 to the power minus 2 by 3 in 10 to the power minus 5. So can you see how small this term would be? Okay. Tell me. Tell me. Can you see how small this term is, this beta z? Is it okay?
Yes.
Right? So for low frequencies, this beta z can be easily neglected as compared to the omega t. Fine? When frequency is low, the lambda is much larger than the circuit dimensions. If frequency is low, then lambda would be large because lambda into frequency is a constant. If frequency is low, please tell something, otherwise it's difficult. If the frequency is low, lambda would be high. C equal to lambda into F. This is constant, this will not change. If this is low, sorry, this is low, then this has to be high because the product is constant, right?
Yes.
Now, if lambda is high, beta will be low because beta is 2 pi by lambda, actually very low. If
Yes,
lambda is very high, beta would be very low. Okay,
Yes, sir.
right? And our circuit dimension is also very low, much smaller compared to this lambda. We do not have circuits which are length in kilometers. We do not deal with circuits which are a few kilometers large. We never seen those type of circuits usually. There are examples. Okay, we'll come to it later. But usually we do not see those type of circuits, right? So this beta z term is very low. Agreed? This beta z term is very low. This term is very low.
yes.
As a result, for low frequencies,
What-
this, sorry, tell me.
What is Z? What is Z here?
Z is this circuit dimension. Z. This thing.
Okay.
This is Z. Okay. This entire thing is Z. So this beta Z is so low that this can be neglected as compared to omega t. Agreed? Okay. Tell me. Beta Z.
Yes, sir.
Beta z term
Yes,
is
sir.
very low, so it can be neglected as compared to omega t. So in our circuit theory course, we had always written V equal to V naught cos of omega t, and we never wrote V equal to V naught cos omega t minus beta z, but this is more correct. Okay, when the frequency is low, this can be approximated to this, and this approximation is usually very good. That is why in our circuit theory classes previously, when we had dealt with very low frequencies, sometimes when we had dealt with 50 hertz, okay, it is perfectly okay to approximate this omega t minus beta z with omega t, because beta z is very, very, very small number compared to omega t, right? Agreed? Fine with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Now, what happens when f is 1 gigahertz? What is beta now? Sorry, what is lambda now? One step by step. What is lambda? What is lambda now? Anyone? 0.3 beta. Okay. Lambda is 0.3 beta, that is 30 centimeters. But circuit dimensions was 60 centimeters. So now lambda is no longer much larger compared to the circuit dimension. Correct? When
Yes,
f
sir.
is 1 gigahertz, now lambda is no longer much larger compared to the circuit dimensions. And 2 pi by lambda z, this would be 2 pi times 30 centimeter times 60 centimeter. So that is 4 pi. You can understand. So for a given instant of time, there would be 2 cycles of in z. Actually, no, this is in the sine wave. V was Vtz was V naught cos of omega t minus beta z. If t is 0, V0z equal to V naught cos beta z. Agreed? Vtz is V naught cos omega t minus beta z. If t is 0, V0z would be V naught cos omega beta z.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
yes.
How does
So,
it look? How does it look? This, if I plot V0z with respect to z, V0z, this is z. This is V naught. This is minus V naught. Correct? It looks something like this. Cosine wave. It looks something like this.
Yes, sir.
In our circuit, what will happen? In our circuit, this was 20 centimeter, this was 10 centimeter, this was 20 centimeter, this was 10 centimeter. So, okay, so up to this was 60. Okay. So this will be up to 30. This something like this will be around 10. So it will be something like this. It will fall further, then rise again. Okay, correct? This is my waveform, which starts from 0. It will fall like this. Up to this, it will fall. Agreed? At time instant of 0, the waveform would go down like this along the line, along the circuit. Is it okay? Can you understand this?
so,
I am just projecting this onto this, right? Correct? Others, I am just projecting this waveform into the circuit. So if I start from here, the circuit will be like this. It will keep falling. Okay. So see the fun now. What is the voltage here? It is this value VA. What is the voltage here at point B? It is VB. Now is VA equal to VB?
Sir.
Sorry?
No, sir.
No. But isn't this violation of KVL? As per KVL, VA must be equal to VB. That's what we have learned, right? So isn't KVL violated in this circuit?
Yes, sir.
Right? So we cannot apply directly KVL in this circuit because the voltage here and voltage here are not same. Okay? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
KVL and KCL can be applied safely only when the wavelength is much larger than the KVL and KCL. Please mute the microphone. KVL and KCL can be applied safely in the circuits only where the wavelength is much larger as compared to the circuit dimensions. Is this point clear? Please mute.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Understood? If the wavelength is very large compared to circuit dimension, KVL and KCL can be applied without problem. But if wavelength is much smaller, so much larger, is comparable to the circuit dimension, KVL and KCL cannot be directly applied. This is the basic thing of transmission line equation. Okay, what is the transmission line now? Please mute whoever is doing this. 1 second, somebody is waiting. Okay, so KVL and KCL can be applied safely. Please, whoever it is, please mute your microphone. KVL and KCL can be applied safely only when the circuit dimensions are much smaller compared to the wavelength. Okay, fine. Now we come to transmission lines. How many of you have got cable TV from the cable operator, not through the dish in your house? How many of you? Anyone?
yes, sir.
Have you noticed the wire, the cable through which the cable TV signal comes to from that operator to your set-top box?
Yes, sir.
It's a black wire, thick black wire, thick black cable. So this is one example of a transmission line. Okay, that type of wires are called coaxial cables. Coaxial cables, or simply coax. Many books write it coax, whatever you want to say. This has got one central conductor surrounded by a dielectric material, then another conductor and another dielectric material. So these are the examples of a transmission line. Now transmission lines are examples of distributed circuits. Remember in the very first class which I took in your first year, I told you example of a lumped circuits and distributed circuits. Those things. Like I think in my very first class of first year which I took. Remember lumped components and distributed components, circuit components. I think. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what was lumped component?
The resistor, inductor, capacitor.
Where all the resistance in a resistor, all the resistance is lumped at a particular point, right? A lumped capacitor is a capacitor whose all the capacitance is lumped at a particular point. However, the distributed components, we cannot say that the resistance capacitance is lumped at a particular point. Transmission line is a very good example of a distributed component. If I take a very small, this is my line. If I take a very small section of this line, this can be approximated something like this. And the reference is from Posa's book. Okay, the Posa's book I have shared with you yesterday. You can check from that book. Reference of all this, all this I'm taking from Posa's book. Okay, this is a very small portion of the line, very small portion, not the entire line. Now, is it possible for you to separate the resistance or separate the inductance from the line? It is not possible. And you cannot say that all the resistance is pointed at one particular point. No. The resistance, inductance, capacitance, this is the conductance, okay? This G is conductance. It should not be confused with resistance. It is distributed throughout. That is why this is an example of a distributed component. Okay. Now tell me, what is the unit of R? What is R? R is the resistance per unit length. What is the unit? Anyone? What is the unit of
Ohm
R?
per meter.
Can't hear you. You can type if you have net problems. You are welcome to type on chat. Chat is open. Like whatever you type, I can see right away. Very good, ohms per centimeter. But from SI, we write ohms per meter. Okay, very good, very good, very good. Ohms per meter. This one, this is called R is resistance. L is inductance per unit length. Units. Units. Very good. But
Per meter.
Niloy, it's better. Exactly. All of you right. Henry per centimeter isn't wrong. But since we are using SI, we should keep in this point. Okay. C, capacitance per unit length, unit. Unit.
Farad per meter.
Farads per meter. Very good. And this G, this is conductance per unit length. Unit.
Siemens per meter.
Siemens per meter. Excellent. Right. Now we have a problem that we have got a source. The source for the frequency, the source generates sinusoidal voltage, but the frequency is now very high. It could be in the order of gigahertz or gigahertz. Okay, frequency is in the order of gigahertz. This has a source resistance followed by a transmission line. The circuit symbol of transmission line is like this: two parallel thick whatever wires or whatever you want to do. There is a load ZL. So the source is delivering some power to the circuit. Is it fine? The source is delivering some power to the circuit.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Some of the power is wasted. There is resistance in the source resistance. There is also resistance and conductance in the line. So obviously they are dissipating some of the power. Not all power is reaching the load. But we would like to calculate how much power is actually reaching the load. Okay. How to calculate? Problem is what we have seen. We cannot use KVL and KCL directly because now the frequency is much large and the wavelength is comparable to the circuit dimensions. Okay. So how to solve the problem? Can you give some idea? KVL and KCL cannot be directly applied. Anyone who wants to contribute? either by talking or by typing. Either way it is fine. Somebody is waiting. Anyone?
So we can take a small element of our
Excellent. Absolutely right. Your point is taken. We take a very small element of length delta z. The element is so small that even this small wavelength is much larger than this very small element. Get the point? This delta z is so small that even if lambda is small, it is still much larger compared to this delta z. So now the condition of applying KCL and KVL is satisfied. Fine. Agreed? This lambda, although the entire line is very large, this very small portion is so small that it is still much lesser compared to the wavelength. So the conditions which we discussed for KCL and KVL application is valid. So we can use. And how we approximate this, how we model this, we had seen just now, like this. This is the approximate circuit. This is my R delta Z, L delta Z, C delta Z, and G delta Z. This is voltage here, V, ZT, obviously the function of time and distance. The current here is I, ZT. Current here, I, Z plus delta ZT, and the voltage here would be V, Z plus delta ZT. The coordinate of this point is Z, and this length is delta Z. Can we write this? Can we write this? Can we write this? Fine. Now let us apply KVL. From KVL we can write VZT minus IZT, sorry, minus IZT R delta Z minus L delta Z d dt of IZT, that is equal to V Z plus delta Z T. Is it okay? Is it okay to write this? From KVL, this is from KVL, applying KVL.
Yes, sir.
Let us take this V in the other side. So minus of IZT and this V and also the delta Z minus R L d dt IZT, that is equal to V Z plus delta Z T minus VZT by delta Z. Is it okay to write this? Is it okay to write this? I am taking this V, I am taking this V from left to right and dividing the entire thing by delta Z. Is it okay to write this? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Fine?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, if delta Z tends to 0, what is this? What is this? What is this? The right hand side of the equation.
DVDZ.
Okay, dVdz or del V del Z, but we can take dVdz. Okay, strictly it is del V, but this t dependence we know. Okay, the sinusoidal. So dV zt by dz, not dt. Sorry, this dz. Equal to negative of I ZT R plus L d dt of I z t. Is it okay to write this? This equation is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now apply KCL. Let's see what happens. KVL we applied, we got one equation. Let us apply KCL. I am drawing the circuit again for your help. If we apply KCL, we will see that this is I z plus delta z t, right? So if we apply KCL, we will see that I z t minus c delta z d dt of v z plus delta z t minus g delta z v z plus delta z t, that is equal to I z plus delta z t. Can we write it? I am applying KCL to this part. Can we write it? What is the current?
Yes, sir.
Capacitor, okay. Q equal to CV, so I would be C dV dt. C is not changing with time, so we can take that out of the different equation. Same logic we apply using the exact same derivations. I z t, that is by dt, that is equal to minus C d dt v z plus delta z t plus g v z plus delta z t. Now delta z is tending to 0, it's very small, so we can approximate it as v z t minus g v z t. Okay, so we have two equations now. See carefully. Oh, the meeting will end in 5 minutes, so you have to start another meeting, unfortunately. So before this 5 minutes ends, let us write the equation quickly. What we got so far. We have got two equations. First equation looks like this one. dv zt by dt, that is equal to minus of r plus, sorry, minus of r I zt plus L di zt dt. Second equation, how does it look? I zt dt, that is equal to minus g of v zt plus c of d dt of v zt. These equations are called telegrapher's equations. Are they fine? Are they okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now if we
Sir, can
phasor
you scroll
terms,
a little bit upwards?
sorry, I couldn't get you. Last person.
So can you scroll a little bit upwards?
Upwards.
The KCL
Of
question.
course I can. This part?
Yes, sir.
See?
Okay.
Thank you. Are these equations okay? Now for sinusoidal waves, if the waves are sinusoidal, then d dt can be replaced by j omega. Right? For sinusoidal, we have seen what? The inductive reactance is j omega L. The capacitive reactance is 1 by j omega C. So these equations can be modified as dt minus I zt r plus j omega l di zt by dt minus v zt g plus j omega c. This is a critical point. Let us this 5 minutes wait for some question answer. After 5 minutes, when the meeting is over, we'll start a new meeting and continue. So, any questions so far? Please take a small break at this point. Any questions so far? How this come? How these equations are coming? Anything?
Sir, in the circuit, why it is I Z plus delta Z?
Here? Because as what we had seen, that the current is changing along the circuit, right? We had seen, right? That is why. Because change is small, we can ignore it. We had done once. That is why it's I Z plus delta Z. I Z and I Z plus delta Z are not usually same. If Z is large, then they are of course delta Z is large, then they are of course not the same. We had seen, right? Given instant of time, the current is varying along the circuit. Anybody else? Any other question? Any other question? So my voice is clear now. It's not breaking. Okay, then. So let us stop this meeting. And Ayush and Simran, Simran is I think is the other group. So Ayush, whatever, please start a new meeting and share the video. Okay, thank you. I am stopping.